It's time to take another look at a game I have reviewed on this channel. In July of 2011, I reviewed Wings of War for the SEGA Genesis, which at the time, I have felt the game itself happens to be an underrated classic, in my humble opinion. In mid-November 2021, a.k.a. Games released Gynoug, originally developed by Messiah Games for modern consoles. Lancer, another game from Messiah, and a Sega Mega Drive Genesis title, was also released by a.k.a. Games previously. I may review that game sometime in the future. Now this is the second game in the Kid Thunder VG Reviews series that I have covered that I am obviously revisiting. But keep in mind, as a video game reviewer, I obviously have plenty of games to cover. Maybe in the near future, I will obviously, review some games in a multi-review episode like I have been doing in the past. But enough of my ramblings. It's time to revisit Gynoug, aka Wings of War. It is time to gear up and fight the evils here. You must brace yourself while tons of evil inhabitants confront you and be sure to blast them back to the depths of hell. You are in for a wild ride with this shmup, but failure is not an option. As previously stated in my review of Wings of War for the Genesis, you take the role of the angel, War, who has to defend the heavens and make sure Ickis and his demons are vanquished. However, in this modern release, just like in the original game, once you begin, there is no way to explain the story. I mentioned that you have a vast array of power-ups that can be obtained by dispatching enemies, which can come in any direction, just like any other shmup. Your power to fight them off is where you, my friends, must keep focus, otherwise you're going to be blown into smithereens. When you confront bosses, some of them, like the locomotive boss in the first stage, can be taken out in record time. But there's other screen-filling bosses you have to take into consideration by constantly being on your toes. Also, there's minor bosses midway through each stage, and sometimes they can throw a barrage of bullets and other projectiles toward you. Remember I stated that in the original game manual, Stage 6 says prepare for the worst, and I had no footage proving I couldn't get to that point in the game? Well, I have after a whole decade later. It is a boss gauntlet, and it is imperative you have to stay focused. After the gauntlet, you will face a boss that almost looked like the final form of the Gynoug boss from Ninja Gaiden. While it may look like it's a pushover, you still have to be on your toes. Once you beat him, you are considered a true hero. Don't forget to check out my Bandcamp page if you like chiptune music. Most of my music will be here as well. Every stage of this game from beginning to end looks completely surreal, and I love the attention to detail, let alone the presentation. Some, including myself, would say that this is one of the first games, if not the first, in the bullet hell segment of shmups. The screen-filling bosses, as mentioned earlier, are the best highlights, and is still worth another look. I also have to say that the soundtrack is still worth listening to. It's energy-driven and memorable. The orchestra-sounding tunes from the Genesis Mega Drive sound chip still sounds amazing and enjoyable to this day. My views and opinions on this game are still unchanged. If you were to look for the original cartridge itself, it's climbing up in price. It's possible to acquire the Japanese Mega Drive release, given that may be on the reasonably priced side. The European release may also be reasonably priced, but not by much. The North American release is the one that's obviously up in the high price range, especially if it's complete in box. But then again, if you want to get it reasonably cheap, probably getting this game on the eShop is the way to go. That about wraps it up for this episode of Kid Thunder VG Reviews. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen.